Good evening, everyone. This is the next part of Let Us Talk Live. Had two fantastic guests on so far, been PJ Peter and also Keith Bonus. Got two more fantastic guests to come. Again, as I keep on saying, any questions are welcome. So make sure you try to ask as many questions as you can. It does help me. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in so far. We've got another live special on Thursday night at 8:30 with Lee Curry, so looking forward to that. Also, obviously, if you've missed any of this tonight and you want to have a look it back, it's on the YouTube page. Mental health hashtag Let Us Talk. Just waiting for a few others to come back in, and then I'll get the next guest on. As I say, any questions are welcome. Make sure we try to ask all the questions, and hopefully this is helping anyone with any struggles, or somebody around them may be struggling as well. Let me just get the next person on. Here he is. Yeah, you alright? You good?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Yeah, finally got you on, mate. Finally
I
got you
know.
on.
Every single time there seems to be something else that comes up.
Cool, but you're on now. You're on now.
And to be
So
honest, last week when you said maybe come on after the AGM, it went on for an hour and a half, so it would have been a
yeah,
bit of a struggle, to be honest.
be fair, I was having a nightmare anyway with Keith last week
Yeah,
as
I saw
well.
all that.
So yeah,
I
but
saw
it's
you
all
did a
right.
test run earlier. I thought, well, he's gone on an hour early.
Nah. Me and Keith just wanted to check it.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, all good
top
and
coach,
well.
really.
Yeah, no, he's a top guy. So, but yeah, so obviously for the ones what don't know you, who's going to watch it back or in here now, let them know who you are, how we met, and obviously what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Ronnie Muse. We met probably years ago, just on the local football scene, I suppose, growing up in a similar area. Probably like a lot of the boys that have jumped in the chat tonight. Personally, I'm a teacher at secondary school, so can hopefully give you a little bit of a different perspective as well from that point of view, because obviously I have to deal with kids not just within football but outside of football, with school, and at the moment as well a lot of things are really heightened, like in this current pandemic,
Yeah,
and having to have certain conversations that, to be honest, wouldn't normally have at the same kind of consistency and amount as we're having now. So
yeah.
did a little bit of coaching as well. I'm so busy at school at the moment that, to be honest, most of the coaching is done at school. But I've coached a few local clubs like Seven Oaks and people like that, and try and jump in where I can. But like I say, a lot of time is taken up in actual schools now. So kind of doing that a lot more than other things really at the moment.
Obviously, you're back this season as well playing. I know you want to mention it, so you may as well mention it now.
Yeah. So obviously, as you probably know, you probably know the entire team, to be honest. But SC Thamesmead 90, we're going into Westphal. Really looking forward to it. I mean, we've been lucky that we've been able to get over and do some socially distant training. A lot of it's been kind of fitness based stuff, to be honest, and just not pre-season, because we're, as you know, we're miles away from the season, so we don't want to burn out before we get there. But just little hits, things like that, and just little passages that we can do and stuff. I've been taking quite a few of them just to give Steve a chance to have a look and see kind of who maybe needs to perk it up a little bit. But to be honest, the boys have been absolutely bang on.
I'm guessing the number one to get fit is a young guy named Fennick, probably who's in here.
Do you know what? He's doing quite a lot, to be honest, of training. Like he's been putting the work in, to be fair. And I know that the Saturday boys are starting training this week as well. So we might lose a few to them, but good thing for us is a couple of our boys might play for our Saturday team. So we're not really complaining. Do you know what I mean? But we've got quite a big squad. We've pulled basically all the boys together.
Yeah.
And we've gone with a squad of 22, and there are other people that will obviously know us from playing before, and they've kind of said like if you need a player and stuff like that. So
Yeah, of course.
got a few there if we need, but if we can't get a team out with 22 players, we're struggling a little bit, you know. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
No, of course, and obviously, I wish all the lads were well.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll get out to watch some of your games, obviously this season as well, when it actually comes back. But
yeah.
for Fennec, that's nasty. Coming from you over the years. We won't get into that. But yeah, sorry, Jimmy King said, "Who's that in the back?"
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. What's he on about?
It's not even there.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So first question: what's mental health mean to you, Ronnie?
To me personally, I think really, like Keith said, it does encompass quite a lot of things. But I think ultimately, it's the person's ability to cope with their situation. Like everyone's going to have setbacks, and we know that we're all getting older in the tooth now, and there are setbacks through life. And I think it's how you kind of deal with that and the knock-on effects it has. And I think sometimes you feel like you have dealt with it or you are dealing with it, but actually it's lingering in the back of your mind. And I know that the boys getting back together without singling people out. I've had conversations with a lot of them, and it's quite a big thing for us. You know, like there's probably quite a lot of us haven't played properly in a long time, especially not together, and it's a really big thing. And I've had some quite good conversations with Steve, like behind the scenes, and he's just as happy as I am, and the players are. And I think just finding those things to deal with the problems that come with life, really, it's just don't. The biggest thing that I find is a problem is people push it to one side and hide it. And like Keith said, it can build up and it can build up, and that's when it becomes a problem. Because when the pressure gets too high, you know, it's going to explode, and then all of a sudden there's a big event, and that's why it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. Obviously, do you feel Keith had a different side of it? Obviously, because he's been within the men's game and also obviously the women's game, and also he's coaching obviously over the years. But what's your thoughts on? Do you feel it's harder for men to open up in than women, especially around maybe a football dressing room or outside of a football dressing room? Do you still feel it's hard for men
Yeah,
to open up?
100%. I think the biggest problem with football, it's got better in my opinion,
Yeah.
but there's still a long way for it to go. But I think the biggest problem is football is tribal, as you know, and especially if you come into a new dressing room. I think like if when you make a jump to, I don't know, if you're going to go up a level or something like that, and you don't really know the people around you,
Yeah.
like you said, it's seen as a sign of weakness, not just the players, but if the coach is seeing a player who's down all the time and he's coach, I'm having problems. Like Keith said, there are these winning is everything coaches,
Yeah.
and the problem is the coach gets worried. The player, sorry, gets worried that the coach is going to look at him and go, "Oh, he's weak. I'm not going to play him. I don't trust him."
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is there is still quite a few people that do that. And I'll be completely honest. I was coaching an under-10s team
Yeah.
for quite a while. Jumped in, fantastic chairman, fantastic club, and genuinely, we'd win 3 games in a row or something like that, and then parents would come up to you when you lost the game. And bearing in mind, these players were 10 years old, and they were like, "Why did we lose today?" And you're just like, "Are you actually joking?" And the problem is getting those people, like Keith said, educated, because if that's what they're saying to me as a coach, I worry about what they're then saying to the player, either after the game or when they get home. You know, it's just kind of like if you're kind of drumming in that all the time, "Oh, you've not won, you've not achieved anything." Like we said, you're already building on that stigma of fear of failure, you know, and people
Yeah.
start letting it build up, and it becomes a bit of a problem.
Gavin Walker just said, who is obviously a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and obviously knows a lot of the boys, obviously at the team as well. And that he said, ask him how he thinks he can improve on awareness as a manager. So, or even I'll just throw it out there as not only as a manager but as a person. How do you feel things can be shown on more awareness nowadays? Do you feel?
Like Keith said, I'll back him up. He's probably taken a lot of my answers, to be honest, because he's obviously such a good guest. But
Yeah.
the education is massive. Like, I was lucky enough that the previous club I was at, they actually got minding, and they did quite a lot. And they made sure made a point that every coach at the club had to be there,
Yeah.
and they had like four teams per age group. So actually,
Yeah.
there's a lot, you know. And you look around the room, and there was a lot of people, all different ages, all different backgrounds. And Mind came in and gave us a really good talk and spoke about examples, what you can do, how you can speak to people, and that even that one workshop, I walked away from it thinking, I'm a teacher and I have training like that a lot, so I'm lucky in that respect. Not saying that you can't improve and there's more you can do. There always is, but there could be people in that room that don't have any exposure to training like that, because, like Keith said, it's not strictly on the pathway of coaching currently. But I think the only way it's going to become really big in terms of educating the coaches, you have to put it in there.
Yeah.
You can't, on one hand, say we're going to push mental health and it's got to be at the forefront, and then it's not in any of the education that's compulsory. I mean, it's got to be in there, and the workshops, like Keith said, just go and have a look. There's so many things out there now that, from Facebook, from YouTube, there's so many things you can just look at and get a different perspective that kind of broaden your horizons. Just get as many ideas as possible, so that when you are posed with a situation, you haven't got one way to deal with it. You've got multiple ways to actually deal with it and address it, you know?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move away from it a little bit from football, and obviously go into maybe an educational side of it. As we say, we were speaking about it. Obviously, I know. I think Josie's in here as well. Who obviously I work with at an SEN school, and I know she's the first aid in mental health at our school. I've gone to her a couple of times and spoken about a few of my problems. Obviously, we've spoken about it and that. Do you feel mental health in first aid is a good course to have in education, or do you feel we should be going on maybe a bit more advanced educational courses than that?
I personally think anyone that works in a school should do those mental health courses as first and foremost. And then you can obviously have people that are a little bit more specialised and then have to do further education. But I do think that anyone who works in a school or just around children in general should have some exposure to those courses. Because if you work in a school, 100%, you're going to have to deal with an issue at some point, you know. You're going to... You can't work in an environment with children where mental health won't be a problem at some point. That's the truth. Yeah, so, yeah, I think it needs to improve across. It's not just football, like you say. It's, if you work with people that with class as vulnerable more than ever with children, 100%. They need to start with that.
Sorry, I'm just laughing. Sorry, I'm just laughing because readers just turned around and said, yeah, he's just turned around and said Jolie's punching with Jordan. To be fair, so
we know she is, but like, come on, Matt. You know what I mean?
she's going to leave this chat in a minute because. But anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Ronnie.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, 100%. I think it's a big thing. Like being a teacher, there's nothing worse for me than when you realise there's a real issue, you know, with a kid. Like when there's a real issue with a kid, it's massive, because you actually sit back and when you're a form tutor, when you're a teacher, you see these kids every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And you actually probably see them, some of them, you probably see them more than possibly their parents if they're working away and stuff like that, you know. So I've just seen a little message from Gavin there saying learning how to pick up on little signs. 100% agree. Like the problem is with that is there are signs obviously that will come up. So one of the big things is a child might dramatically change how they are in school. You might see a complete change. If they're a shy kid, they might be acting out. If they're normally someone who's really out there, they might be becoming really reclusive. You might see things like a change in friendship groups, like kind of a sudden change. And that's not always a cause for concern, but you've got to keep an eye on it, you know. You've got to keep an eye on that. And then the reason I say it's sometimes a problem is it can be hidden by certain people. It can be hidden. So little things when you're in a school and when you're coaching, just having a chat with those young individuals, literally just checking in with them. They don't need to have a problem for you to ask them how their weekend was. You know, you speak to the child, how was your weekend? And I guarantee you the conversations that you'll get back from little things like that will actually then possibly bring up the issues. But if you didn't ask the question, you
Yeah.
might not see an issue. We've seen it with big, high-profile celebrities. You look at someone like Robin Williams. The
Yeah.
guy was always cracking jokes and laughing, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden that big tragedy happens. So sometimes the problem is that unless people are making an effort to speak to them, they might not come out, even if they really, really trust you, you know? So,
100%. So, Orange Ball coaching, who Keith was talking about a minute
yeah,
ago, I have been speaking to him a lot as well recently. He said, great point regarding education. Mental health really needs to be on par with physical health. Both are connected. 100%. I don't feel like people feel, especially within, I don't know, football and any sport
yeah,
nowadays, I feel like it's always focused, and even in education, like PE lessons and everything like that, everyone's focused on how physically well you can do, or physically your performance you can do. But I feel if you're mentally struggling, then it's going to affect your physical performance. So for me, at the moment, more mentally is more important than a physical performance, because it will overtake your physical performance anyway.
yeah, exactly. And it will override. Peter was saying earlier that the mind controls everything, you know? So if you've got a problem going on, it will affect everything, because if your confidence goes, you know it, Jay, from coaching.
Yeah.
Confidence alone in a person, that they become someone different physically straight away.
Mm.
They might still look the same and be physically, theoretically the same, but they won't be doing the things that they were previously doing, because it's a big weight on your mind when there's a problem, you know. And I think the biggest thing really is understanding that it's okay to talk about it, and don't be scared to reach out to your mates and say, you know what, I am struggling. You know, I'm actually struggling myself a little bit. But can you help me? And
Mm.
that Harry's Heroes thing that was on, to be honest, I remember watching that and being like, these, like you say, these are professional footballers that have played at the highest highest level, sorry. And you see some of the issues they have, and that's the thing. Mental health affects everyone. It's not kind of a problem that, oh, this group of people are going to get it, or this group of people. It can affect anyone, and that's the thing that people need to realise. And I think slowly, that's the stigma that's being lost, and I hope it continues to do that, because we need to move away from kind of these tribal dressing rooms. Yeah, you can have banter and stuff like that, but you've also got to understand when you're a bit like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that, or maybe I shouldn't say this, or does he need an arm around him? You know, it's very, very important.
Yeah, no. Sonia's just turned around and said, definitely agree with me with the comment what I just said. Yeah, no, thank you for that. Jodie's just turned around and said, agree with you, Ron. All educators should have basic mental health training in regards to children and staff, then have selective people for further support if needed, and possibly an actual lesson on mental health and well-being. I feel in 100%. I feel that it should be more in education, as you said, and as I said as well. I feel like it should be a lesson, or it should be incorporated in a physical education, maybe once or twice a month or whatever. That way. Sorry, obviously I've got loads coming in now. HM90s, the stigma around mental health is people don't want to admit it because they think it makes them sound weak. But you only got to look at the current heavyweight champion has bare mental health. But when he don't box or stay active, his own worst enemy and has his own demons. 100%, yeah, no, I agree. Like, obviously, you got to look at people like that as well. But this is what I mean by he's come out and said that, and it's in the public eye, but we don't move on it. I feel like they've come out, and then what happens?
Yeah,
Nothing's moved on it. Like, and obviously a lot of people who are not famous are struggling as well. And I don't feel there's enough like campaigns or to keep pushing it and keep driving it along, because I feel like it comes out, we speak about it for, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, and then it just goes to the wayside again. Like, I feel something sustainable has to, for a longer period of time.
and I think, like we were saying before, I think you can target schools, because ultimately 90% of the time the kid's going to be there. you know what I mean? The kids are going to be there. So rather than trying to just grab them at a club and things like that, if you do that, you're going to have a massive area of people that you're missing out on. But if you can do it at school, and like you say, maybe put a lesson in there, then actually you're going to reach a much, much bigger audience, you know?
100%, yeah. So, Megan, I think it's Megan, turned around and said, so good that you are sharing awareness for mental health. A lot of things have an impact on people. Some of it we don't realise just how much it can impact a person. Great live. Cheers for that. Thank you very much for your words. There's a lot of stigma around it. Jimmy King. Gavin's just asked another question. Do you think parents have a responsibility to learn and pick up on things as well?
100%. I mean, depending on where you go to school, there could be a really close-knit connection with parents and the school itself. And you can argue, actually, that it would be a good idea if you can have a program on mental health, where we said previously you're training staff. I don't know why it's out of the question that you get parents in to do similar sessions. It might be slightly different because you're not in the school environment, but you're at home. But just so they can understand as well, because I'm ahead of year and I have conversations with parents all the time, especially more in this predicament because you're checking in. You know, you're checking in. We're not seeing the kids, and it's hard. Like I've got a lot of mates who say, "Oh, I bet you're well pleased to be at home," and you're like, "No, not really. Like I love." You know what I mean? You go into teaching because you love it. So I've had a few conversations, and I've had parents that have emailed me and said, "My child is struggling to be motivated. I just don't know what to do." And I've literally said, "Just I'll give you a call. You know, you've got to." And in that point, because we can't get around to these people, it's quite hard to do the training and stuff like that. So sometimes you have to take the initiative and speak to the child. And sometimes, like I said, you leave that conversation and you think, I've made a massive, massive difference, you know, and it's all about helping each other. Like there's got to be a connection between parents, between the teachers that see the kids every day, and also with their coaches. Because really, their coach is just another teacher.
Yeah.
So their coach is another teacher in a different environment, probably one they enjoy a little bit more, to be honest, but it's exactly the same when it comes down to it. So everyone's got to, I think, be on board with that and have the training, you know.
Yeah, sorry. Sonia, I've just seen your comments, obviously, about the 17-year-old and that. I'm sorry, obviously, they've gone through that experience, hoping they're okay now. And obviously, if anyone needs any advice or talk, as I say, any of the guests, I'm sure will be there for anyone. I'm there, obviously, to have a chat. And also, obviously, anyone else in here will obviously be there for anyone who just needs a chat, basically. So hopefully that situation is okay now and they're getting better. But overall, obviously, what do you feel going forward people can do after this lockdown to help everyone?
I think we've got to kind of drive community a little bit more, to be honest. I mean, gone are the days, I mean, we grew up in a similar environment, but I feel like if you go back 20 years and growing up in southeast London, it felt a lot more tight knit, you know. And I feel like we've got away from that, and we've had quite a few issues where people just get further and further apart. And I think just bringing communities together, I think schools can play a big part. I would say that as an educator, but I feel like just getting children, especially, to mix in terms of other schools, other environments, and speaking, getting them to understand that from a young age, that mental health affects everyone, and speak out from a young age. Because the problem is, if they don't learn about it young, they get to a certain age and they'll be ignorant to it through no fault of their own. You know, if you've not been taught something, how can you be expected to understand it?
Yeah.
I know that at my school, I think they're looking into more lessons that are to do with kind of everyday life and things like that. And I know during lockdown, we've made sure that for our year groups, we've put something on each week for mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
Because I do get messages where students are struggling, and it'd be easy to sit there and go, oh, you know, but actually you've got to step back and say, why are they struggling? It's not a case of just the work's too hard, stuff like that. It's probably a case that they're at home, they've been at home for 13, 14 weeks, they've not seen their mates, and some of these kids haven't been able to get out, you know. So I think there's obviously as soon as it's safe, getting that community straight away, doing more and more things in community, in school, outside of school as well. Grassroots can play a massive part. And I think just again, we keep saying this word education on mental health. It's got to happen from a young age, I think. You even hear stories of primary school children that are struggling, and I think the problem is with it now, with all the media and stuff like that, the real world becomes more of a reality at a lot younger age these days, because these kids are watching so much stuff and things like that, so that they become attuned to things that maybe when we were younger, it would have happened in secondary school. So you're better equipped to deal with it. So you've got to grab it early, I think.
100%. Before I go on to the last guest, Ron, obviously, last message from you, on mental health, your thoughts on it, how people can help going forward if you're struggling, what you feel they can do, and obviously anything else you really want to say about mental health.
Yeah, I think that one big thing is get that support network around you. Before you have an issue, make sure you've got your own kind of support network, so that if you have to, you can go to those people and you can have a conversation. And something that I think is massively important, and I'm not saying ignore it and stuff like that, but I do find that keeping busy is a massive thing. Because I think as soon as you stop doing your usual activity and you start slowing down your routine, then the problem is that you start to overthink everything. When you're not doing anything at all, your brain starts thinking about other things, and that's when problems come in. So try and keep busy, get a support network around you that you can then go to. And just remember, we keep seeing it because the People's FC have had their kit release this week, but their kind of slogan is okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
The truth, isn't it,
100%, it's true. And as I say, my hashtag, as I said all the time, is let us talk. So
exactly.
anyone wants to talk, this is what it's for, or just drop us a DM or whoever, you know what I mean? I'm sure Ronnie, if you wanted to open up to Ronnie, he's there as well, or whoever else is in this chat. I'm sure if you just want to drop them a message and have a chat, I'm sure everyone's there. So cheers, Ron. Thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
Thank you very much,
Take
mate.
care, mate.
Bye-bye.
No worries.
So that was Ronnie from Sporting Club 90, a newly formed Sunday team. Obviously, they know each other for many years, and they got back together. Look forward to obviously going and watch them and the lads and everything like that. I've got one more guest tonight. He's got to follow 3 fantastic guests, but I'm sure he can. Top lad. So let me get him on.
Yes.
Here he is.
What are you saying, bro? You're right.
Yeah, not bad. I know you've been waiting a while, mate.
Yeah, I know. I've been waiting while it's come. How you been?
Yeah, not bad. So, for the people that don't know you, let them know who you are, how we met, and what you do.
My name's Ozzy. I play for the Dons. I own a car wash as well, and I met Jamie through football, through five-a-side. Played for his five-a-side team, and yeah, ever since then we've been close friends, really. Yeah.
Cool. So, obviously, first question, like I say to anyone, what does mental health mean to you?
It's important. I've never really gone through mental health personally, but I've known people that have gone through mental health, and one advice I'd say is obviously the people that I've known, they're guys, they're not really like girls sort of thing. But one thing I've noticed that guys have pride. They don't really want to talk about it. They don't want to say that they've got it because they'll think that it's a bad thing to have it. Do you know what I'm saying? So one thing I'd say is for anyone that does have it, like, don't be afraid to speak, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to help. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to like help you. It's not a bad thing to speak about mental health. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. And it's a serious thing because a lot of people go through it, but they don't just admit it. Do you know what I'm
saying? A few people have been on here. Obviously, I'm going to change it up a little bit because I just want to, obviously, your experiences of certain coaches and stuff like that is quite range. but a lot of people who have come through Aspire, which is obviously the big Dulwich Hamlet
Yeah,
Academy, I know you come through it. They said a lot of help, and a lot of people turned around and said it was great being in that, because they did worry about people's mental health and what was going on away from football, and experiences. What was your experience of that? Do you feel like Gavin and Junior, and even Kevin James at the time, and that did help a
yeah,
lot of players with their mental health?
100%. When I was over the Aspire, they're always checking on you, ringing, see how you are with the college work. And it's important because a lot of players, especially at a young age, like I was getting the bus, the train, late times, coming home very late from football because of the games, etc. Because I wasn't driving at the time, and it can add up mentally. But the managers, they always checked on you before training, after training, see how you are you all right? Is everything good with the family? Do you know what I mean? Because I think with football, a lot of managers, they some just want to do their job and get a result and focus on the game. But then there's stuff outside of football where what you can be going through, but someone just might not know. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think it has to balance, because it can even affect how you play on a Saturday or on a
Yeah.
Sunday, because mentally you need to be ready. And if your mind's not there, then it will affect you. It will eat you up inside.
Do you feel, obviously you've not been playing for the Dons for a while, but obviously
Mm,
they're a family orientated club. We understand that and everything like that. But obviously they put it out there on YouTube, so it's a lot of criticism can come your way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because it's out on YouTube. Do you feel that could affect people's mental health, or do you feel that it can help people's mental health overall, to get more awareness?
Um, with the whole like YouTube thing, I mean, it's a bit of both. Like I know when I decided to play for the Dons, I know I'm gonna get like some criticism from like just the way I am, or
Mm.
positive. You're not. No one's like one thing I say. No one's always gonna give you positive feedback. They're always gonna give you criticism, but it's how you take it. Um, because I think even with mental health, I think a lot of people, like everyone will go through a time where you're stressed. It's natural. No one's gonna have a happy life where you're just happy. You're always gonna have that time where you are a bit stressed, and you're not right in the head sometimes, where you're just a bit down. But I think is what you do about it. Talking to people, doing activities, doing exercise. Do you know what I mean? Just small little things which
Mm.
can help. But it comes with yourself though. You should never let it eat you up inside, man. Anyone who's going through it, like, feel free to message, or like, it's important
Yeah.
just to speak up, man. I think it's really important.
So there's a question coming. Can you ask Oz about the difference between normal Sunday League teams versus the Dons? So maybe that's a sort of what a question what I just turned around and said. You feel obviously there's a lot more pressure on playing for the Dons or a YouTube side compared to playing for a normal Sunday League team.
Oh, I wouldn't say pressure. Obviously, with the camera being filmed and people watching our games, you do want to play well, but I wouldn't say it's. I think it's the same, really. In my
Mm.
opinion, I don't think about. I just try to play football and
Yeah.
enjoy it. I always try to just play football and enjoy myself when I'm playing. Because I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is to have fun when you're playing,
Mm.
and because at the end of the day, when you look back, you're gonna look at the results, the wins, the losses, and that's the most important thing. As long as you enjoyed it and then live the moment, because life's too short, man.
Mm.
It's best to have fun, and then your best will come out.
Yeah. Cheers. Sorry. Q Star 14. Cheers for that, mate. Saying love what I'm doing, etc. That's fine. Ronnie, you've just been on, buffers me this criticism for the Dons. Know a couple of the players and top lads, and let's be honest, they've raised Sunday League's profile massively.
Say that
Yeah,
again, bro.
no,
You
they
broke up
have.
a little bit.
So sorry. Ronnie Toman said, who's just been on, he said, it baffles me this criticism for the Dons. Know a couple of the players and top lads, and let's be honest, they've raised Sunday League profile massively.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Sorry, Gab's shouting out DV5. They're always going to be your Aussies boys.
I love you, though, man. I love you, lot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry, I'm just going through, obviously, some of the comments as well. Yeah, no. So, how do you feel? Obviously, I don't know how it's affected you, but or anyone around you. But how do you
Yeah.
feel? Obviously, lockdown and the virus and quarantine and that is going to affect people's mental health. And what do you feel we can do to help maybe somebody struggling?
It can affect because obviously you're inside. Do you know what I mean? And for example, what you've done for people, like let us talk. That's something what people should start doing, because when you're in lockdown, you're literally by yourself. And if you're going through mental health outside of lockdown, imagine what it's like in lockdown. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it must be even twice as hard.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, doing these Insta talks, listening to what people are saying, can help because one thing I've noticed as well is when people are like I think we live in a world where a lot of people, it's like when you're walking on the street and you see someone, even just saying how was your day, or do you know what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
how you you don't really see that nowadays. It's like if someone says to me, if I'm walking down the street and someone says to me, oh, like, hi mate, how's your day been, I'd be like shocked. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't happen nowadays. Everyone's just so in their own little world, and I think you don't know what some people are going through outside, like just even walking. It could even change their day if you say to them, oh, have a good day today, or do you know what I'm saying, it could just change their day, and it could make them feel a bit better about themselves. And I think people should start doing that.
Yeah, no, this is the twins, ain't it? Total Sports, D is the twins, I think, ain't it?
Yeah,
So yeah, so Oz was brought up in a very rough area and was tough because he was exposed to a lot. This, I believe, helped him mentally. What do you feel? Do you feel that did help you, obviously, mentally as well?
but where I grew up, did you say?
Yeah, where you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up in a I don't know if anyone's familiar. I grew up in Plumstead, Linden Estate. It was a rough area at the time. But I just focused on my football. There was a lot of distractions happening there, like with guys, the wrong crowds. But I tried to, like, to be fair, big up the twin for saying that, because he did guide me. To be fair, to like to not follow that path and not follow other guys because they were doing the wrong things. And I think that does help because when you're like following the wrong path, I think mentally it does affect you, like, because you get stressed out. And but football did change that for me. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like when I started playing football in the cage, I didn't really think about I was at my school, done my football, and then that's how I went to Aspire. They saw me playing, and it all started from there.
Yeah. No, Orange Ball Coaching said, I love the point you made about just enjoying the game. How can others try and do the same?
It's tough because you can't really just tell someone just to enjoy the game. You have to enjoy it yourself. Someone can't enjoy it for you. Like you have to just turn up and just have fun. Don't obviously take it serious, be competitive, but at the end of the day, it's just, there's more to life than football. And as long as you enjoy it and have fun, it'll be 10 times better, and just, it'll be more free. If you take it too serious, sometimes you might not even play that well, and it will just stress you out. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, do you feel in maybe, I don't know, in projects in education or
Yeah,
youth clubs, because I know you've been around obviously youth club
yeah,
leaders
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, and also obviously in the non-league game itself, do you feel there should be more awareness or more specialists coming in, or people what have gone through mental health coming in and talking to people more so it will help the younger generation?
100%, 100%. When you're in youth clubs and like education schemes, if someone comes in like every once a month or twice a month, um, I think it will help because even like young kids or in youth clubs, like they wouldn't say it, they wouldn't say they're going through mental health, but if they just hear someone talking about it, I think it could change their mind to speak up just from hearing someone's experience or hearing someone that has gone through mental health. That's a very
100%.
good point.
Yeah. Obviously now, going forward,
Yeah,
if you feel it's finding the right person that you can trust to talk to about these
hundred
experiences.
percent.
Otherwise, a lot of people won't open up. Sorry, I'm just reading these as well.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
calm, bro.
as a youngster, were you at any pro clubs? If so, what's the difference in terms of mentally and physically between the two? Top baller, by the way. Got to do bits for the Dons next season. That's from
Uh,
Jordan Kelly.
love Jordan, bro. Love. Um, when I was before I went to Aspire, I was at a program called Elite. It was like Elite Sports. So it was like basically a team where they played academy teams, basically. If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I think my first trial was for Tottenham, but that didn't work out. And then I think 2 weeks later, I had a game for Southampton, and then played QPR. Scored, but they didn't. They said they sent me to Leyton Orient for a few weeks. I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks. But as all this was going on, and I'm not even like joking. I swear, I wasn't stressed one bit, honestly. And I was 16, 17.
Mm.
And at that time, you'd think, I want to make it. I want to be a pro. I want to get a scholarship, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. But at the time, I just wanted to enjoy myself and have fun. And whatever
Mm.
happens, happens. And at the end of the day, whatever's meant to be will be. When you're playing football, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you. And then Aspire came. And to be fair, I'd rather have gone to Aspire and learned the non-league side, and then rather than playing the academy football and then probably not getting the pro contract and then coming down to non-league.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, in my opinion. So
Mm.
yeah,
Gav turned around and said, "Ask Odds, does he think alcohol and drugs play a factor? I know, being from Plumstead, there's a lot of drug takers."
yes, I've never taken drugs or alcohol though, but I think it does. I think it does play a big part because I know that it can eat you up inside, taking drugs, alcohol, and it can make you do things that you don't want to do, and then it all adds up one after the other. But yeah, that's definitely something that people should look into to stop doing if they are going through mental health. Try just being healthy. Having a healthy lifestyle can change your whole body and change how you feel. Waking up early, going to sleep early. Do you know what I mean? Certain things
Yeah.
like that is really important.
Sorry, you got a question about Dulwich anyway. Aspire,
Yeah.
best player you played with at Aspire. I'm a Dulwich fan, so I will know the names.
The best player I played with,
Yeah.
um, probably two. There's quite a few actually. Because me, I'm a centre mid. One of the players I used to look at to try and improve my game was Ashley Carew. I think
Mm.
he was a very good player. I tried to watch his game and see what he done on the pitch. Another player was Gavin Tomlin. Gavin Tomlin was a very good player as well. He was a very good player as well. But
Mm.
there was a lot. But yeah, I'd say the main two would be Ashley Carew and Gavin Tomlin.
I'll change this question up a little bit from
Yeah,
Jamal from Birmingham,
yeah.
but it's a good question. What advice would you give to a 20-year-old still trying to make it in? What do you feel mentally and physically they can do to make it in ball?
Um, One thing I'd say is work hard. Obviously, everyone says it in it, but what you put in is what you get out at the end of the day. Um, and like I said before, and just have fun while you're playing. Don't stress too much about making it. Like if you don't make it, you don't make it. Do you know what I mean? As mad as it sounds, but
Mm.
if you put the work in, you'll get the rewards. And have a bit of faith. You need a bit of faith as well. Believe and believe.
Yeah, so the twins are asking, when Oz said about football helping him massively, does he believe having opportunities for people to play all different sports to bring people together, does he feel that it can help with mental health?
Yeah. Obviously, with me, I've always been someone that plays a lot of sports like basketball, football, tennis. I think it does help because you meet other sides, you meet other people. Like us that we play football, we got a like different background to someone who plays basketball, to someone who plays tennis. And I think if you bring all at once together, I think it can. Sorry, I think it can help out a lot massively. To be fair, that is a good question because I think what the twin is doing is very big as well with Total Sports. I think he's bringing a lot of the community together in not just football, in basketball, in
general,
tennis, in general. And I think that's a big shout out to Total Sports as well because I think it's very big, especially with mental health and bringing the young boys for these youth clubs and these activities. It's very important.
Just before we move on to the other questions, I'll just shout them out with their handles because they are doing big things, and everyone go follow them. It's Total Sports _D. Yeah, so make sure you obviously go and do that as well. Yeah. Overall, obviously, another question. I think you touched on it a little bit, but it's just enjoying it. Said what advice would you have for a 14-year-old playing for a top boys club and trying to make it pro at youth level? I think you touched on it. Really, it's just enjoy it, see how it comes, and just
don't take it too serious.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, don't get too depressed about it. Just move on, and opportunities will come if you work hard.
That's it. Yeah.
Last question, Oz, and then I'll let you go, mate. Overall, what's your thoughts, obviously, on mental health going forward now? How do you feel people can help if people are struggling with mental health? And if you're struggling with mental health in general, what do you feel they can do?
I'd say the overall thing, I think people who are not going through mental health, who are not going through it, I think they should just have a bit of awareness and thinking of people that you don't know that might have it, just to try and help people outside of it, as in like if you're just walking down the street or if you're just going to a youth club, speak to someone, you just see how they are. Do you know what I mean? I think if we see how people are doing and just asking them how they are, they might speak, because if we don't ask, they won't say what they're feeling. Do you know what I mean? And I think people that are not going through it are a very big important part of it as well. And anyone who is going through it, like if you need, message Jamie. Obviously Jamie's doing Let Us Talk, which is really good. You can message me as well and just say how you're feeling, because at the end of the day, it's really important if you talk, because no one will know you're going through it, and it's very serious. It's something that we should all look out for as well.
100%. Oz, keep safe, mate. We'll catch up soon. Hopefully, we're back playing football soon, and I'll catch you soon.
Take care,
cheers,
man.
Mate.
Take care. Love.
Bye-bye. That's Osman Peroni. Great guest tonight. Really enjoyed it. It's been a long one, but really enjoy it tonight. Mental health is something I struggle with harshly. If you need to message me. I'm Jake. Yeah, so message me and we'll have a chat. 100%. Anyone who wants to message me, as Oz said, as Ronnie said, as Keith said, anyone wants to message any of us, PJ as well, and any of the other guests, please message us. Don't struggle in silence. Cheers, Gav. Keep up the work. 100% cheers. Thank you very much, everyone, obviously, who's supporting and the kind words. I'm back on Thursday night at 8:30. If you've missed any of these tonight, you can go to the YouTube page, Mental Health, #Let Us Talk. Also, obviously, add me up on my Jamie.Leggett 1985 on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, Jamie Leggett 1, so you can message me on there or add me up on there. Again, obviously, thanks to the support for everyone, Sonia, Orange Ball Coaching, Gav, Total Sports _D. Don't forget to add them as well. Make sure you add them. Doing great things in the community and helping as well. So make sure you add them up as well. I'm back on Thursday night at 8:30. Okay, with Lee Curry, a special. Thank you to everyone for tonight. If anyone's struggling, you know where I am. Message me. Hopefully see you all on Thursday night at 8:30. That's me done for tonight.